My name is Dario Lari and Director of Jealous, and here we have
Mark Denton Esquire, artist, hair model,
and superstar.
I'm not going to argue. Right, you and my mum say that.
Right, so we're here at Jealous, and you've changed the whole feel of the gallery, and it's this whole immersive installation. Now, I remember we did one before. You turned it into an evil supermarket.
That is correct.
So when you came to us and said, "Do you know what, Dario? What I want to do is do something again. Are you up for it?" I just said yes because I knew it was going to be good.
Well, I'm glad. When I say I'm on for doing stuff, I don't know what I'm going to do. And when we had the initial conversation, I didn't have a bloody clue. And I've had a big input from Jess and Alex, the Joy of Sets, on this. And what was great is, and they put the actual look of the gallery together. I had a great idea after 5 minutes, but it was just a bit complicated. And they turned up and said, "Oh, we like your idea," because they would say that because they're very diplomatic. But they said, "Look, every time we visit you, it's just a wash with paper. I've always got stuff all over the walls and all over my desk, and it just looks like the gallery." And they said, "Look, we want to exaggerate, turn this up to 11 and exaggerate it," and that's why we've ended up with this. So it's a lot of their input. But what I love about it,
you've certainly done that anyway.
Right, it feels like my little drawings.
But okay then. But more than that, when you said, well, you actually did say, "I want to do something that's like the inside of my head."
That's true.
Right, now,
that's true.
Now, can we just kind of walk around a bit? Because when you did say that, and I do say that to people, they say, "God, what's this about?" And I said, "Well, it's inside." I spoke about you. I said, "This is inside his head." And then I start to look at it as if it's inside your head. Now, things that I think about being inside your head. It's quite a friendly place.
Right, okay.
It's quite a
I'd like
friendly
to think
place.
so.
It's a quirky place, and it's not a dark place. But what it is, you kind of look at certain images. Like I always kind of think, okay, so there, you can tell that the influence is, because another time that I spoke to you on the phone, and I said, "Oh, where are you off to?" And you were going to see the Beano exhibition.
That is correct, yeah.
And when you were going there, and so there is that kind of innocent, throwaway, slapstick humour here. There's a lot of that.
Well, that's true, and to me, and you're describing it, it's really bloody interesting hearing you describing it, because to me it's normal.
Yes.
So I walk around with this stuff all the time, and it's only through this process, putting this exhibition together, it's opened up a lot for me insofar as I realise that I've never really, this sounds bonkers, but I've never drawn for pleasure. I've only drawn to get ideas down as fast as possible. So I use it as a tool to get whatever I'm thinking down on a bit of paper so it exists in the world. So you take something like that, for instance, and I can see the Beano influence, but that inspired me to dress up as that character, and then that got a different life. So it's always been a process for me to get the idea down, and then it exists, and then I feel compelled to make it real. So, painting my lovely assistant stroke right-hand person, Kate.
Please come and just go over to Kate. That's Kate. Kate here.
Kate is so much more. I just said she's my assistant, but she's so much more.
And here we have, can we just show, sorry to interrupt. This is Kate, we have Kate here. And because obviously we've worked together, and for the last show, we did kind of a series of who were they based on? Regikov?
Trechikov, yeah. So Vladimir Trechikov. See, I thought one day, okay, Kate's Chinese, let's paint her blue. And because I drew that, it had to exist, and before you know it, Kate was painted blue.
And so there's lots of different, but there's different versions of Kate here. We have Sit Bag, and we've seen this. And just to say, as I'm talking about these, all these are original paintings, and they came here without the line works, but which you kind of provided so generously, and so then they're screen printed lines, but all of these are original paintings. Now, so we kind of have all these, again, it's kind of simple humour and it's friendly. That's and it's playful and it is cartoon-like, but it's also, I'm going to tell you which one I really, really like, right? And it's going to be on. Now, I really like Miss Moggy. Now,
I love that.
Well, I'm allowed to like her since it's come out of your own brain. So now, I know it's wrong to say, but I do find it quite sexy. And I don't know why. Now I know, as Amy said, because you can't see Amy because she's behind the camera here filming, she goes, that's a bit weird. Because it's a woman dressed up as a cat, sexy cat suit, and in a cat litter tray, probably doing a poo. Now, I'm not saying I fetch it, I'm just saying I kind of quite like that. I do kind of. But then I kind of like these, and they, because I'm kind of 57, and it does take me back, and I do like the smash and grab and the thwack. And the door, there's something playful. They make you smile, and they make you happy, and there's something lovely about it.
Yeah, and I suppose I don't know why they exist. I don't know why most things exist. It's just stuff. it just occurs to me at a certain point, and I think, let's create a world that's a bit like Batman, but it's nothing like Batman, and it's only got sound in it. There's no dialogue at all in that world. There's only sound. And I can't, even though there's no sounds on Miss Moggy, I can only imagine what the sounds might be. But that is a world, and I suppose I like creating worlds, alternative, parallel worlds to ours. I spend a lot of time in meetings, so someone pointing at a flip chart saying "fuck off" just is something that occurred to me while I was in. That meeting, I thought, well, if I was up front, I might have a different chart.
See this one. I do like the Dunlop. I do like the way that just. Do you know what? I like the text, the way it just sits there at the bottom, that kind of red, and then the wheel made out of stone.
Well, again, that was just a thought, because I ask myself these questions all the time, and I thought, what was the world's first advertising poster? And that was the question. And I've got another little, and it never made it to a painting, but I've got another little sketch somewhere on the wall with Adam and Eve looking at a poster of an apple.
Yeah, I did.
I thought that would be the first bit of advertising. But I don't know why, but Dunlop tickled me. But this process of painting, because I haven't had my paints out since art college. And it's only when you said, if you were to put on a show, I thought, right, okay, and that I had an alternative idea for the subject, and it's only after a while I thought, I like this, but I don't love it, and then I started thinking about what's inside my box. By getting my paints out, I fell in love with actually making the art as well. For the first, and that's the first time I'd ever thought, I've never done anything but use drawing to get an idea on paper.
Yeah.
And then I started enjoying it, and suddenly I want to get the paints out.
Well, the difference is that this is the end rather than you using it as a start for something else.
Insofar as the same
work, when you work, the drawings are there to help you get the ideas out to make something. Where these are an end to itself. This is the end product.
Yeah, I've never stopped at this point before ever. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it, and I want to do more. And I don't feel the need. It's probably expensive as well. So from a practical point of view, if I draw a Zimmer frame owned by an old mod, I don't feel the need to suddenly visit a custom car builder and produce the Zimmer frame. Even though I do like doing that, I can't deny it. It's just my bank manager keeps questioning it.
And just going on about the kind of work that's gone into it, and it's the joy of sets, not sex. Who you've been working, and they have done a really, really phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And I liked it from the maquette, and you think yes, and everything has come out as it is, and like this, and I kind of look at this area here, so it just kind of, and I do come in and I look at it, and it does just take you somewhere, and it's a doorway to somewhere, and and in a way, I think the whole show is about giving yourself to it. If you give yourself to it, then you get, you don't come in kind of, in that, how can I say this? If you just come in full of the joy, the joy hits you when you go through the door, which we'll show you just at the end, which because you've made that whole set outside in a way, but you come in and then you're in a playground in a way. You're in somewhere that's happy and it's which actually keep going back to it. Your head's a good place. You're in a good place.
It's great hearing that, Dario, because I'm hanging on your every word. Obviously, I'm interested in this subject, but I genuinely don't know why I do stuff. And it's only when you get feedback from outside of yourself that you can actually fathom out why. I still can't answer that question, why, but it's a bloody good question. Everything is based on my personal life experience and just observations, whether it's the nudie books I found in the woods as a kid, or the way that the girls that I used to go out with when I was 13, or looking at Kate and thinking, oh, you look good painted blue, or should I dress up as my fictional Edwardian footballing ancestor? All of that, he was part of. I thought one day I thought, what were my ancestors like? And so I made up a load of ancestors, and then I dressed up like them. And then before you know it, I've scribbled down an Edwardian footballer, and then felt compelled to design his world.
Well, that's it.
Everything seems to lead to something else, and sometimes I have to trace it back to its source to think, oh, that started off as an ancestor, a fictional ancestor of mine. But because I did that, I turned my bachelor flat into a cartoon studio, which ended up on Japanese telly. These things have threads that lead to places that I can never, who would have thought that we'd have an exhibition where the key art was based on Kate's pictures, where I turned up one day and said, let's get the blue paint out. The threads that happen and the destinations we end up in are mysteries.
I think they're kind of there. Should we just, so the show's on for a few more days, which would love you to come. Can we just go outside and stand outside the front, because this is what you get when you come, before you come in. So just.
Thank you.
So it kind of, this